Ladies and gentlemen, on this channel, I cover a wide range of topics in the chess world, but this video will be particularly unique, which is quite crazy to say because I've been making content for like half a decade now. But in this video, I'm going to be giving you a little update about the World Top 10. And there's a player who just broke into the World Top 10 for the very first time. Now, if you follow chess at all, there is a good chance you know who this person is. And also, if you're from Germany, there's a pretty good chance you know who this person is. And if you follow chess consistently and you're from Germany, well, I mean, hats off to you. I am talking about Vincent Keymer, who just went up 11 spots, as indicated by the little green arrow and the number 11, and he is now rated 2,750.9, and he's number 10 in the world for the first time. Now, here's something you might not know about Vincent, and why this is a big deal. Vincent is the sleeper of the 2700 club. He does not play as often. I don't think he's been at as many top tournaments as other people, but he has had a monster 2025. He won freestyle in Germany. He won the Chennai Grandmasters tournament, which I'm going to be covering in this video. And he is the second youngest person on this list. Did you know that Vincent Keymer is younger than Prague, than Erigaisi, than Firouzja, and younger than Norderbeck? That's crazy. He's not talked about all that often, all right? And I'm going to talk about him. And I'm going to show you some of his games. And this is something to keep an eye on, because this dude has won, I think now, 3 tournaments in the year 2025. And he's only getting started. And there might be a lot more to come. Okay, every one of these games is a little bit different from the other. And the reason for that is he's generally a pretty solid and positional player, but in this tournament, he gained confidence and he played for a win. So this very first game, heart attack chess. Second game, grinding down a player who he is stronger than. Third game, brilliant, completely just genius chess. And the fourth game, fueled by the confidence of every other victory, he absolutely, torched his opponent. So we're going to kick things off in this game. His opponent is Nihal Sarin, who, by the way, is older than him. Like, all these people to me are like 10 years old because I've just like seen them grow up. But yeah, he's older than him. He plays the Grunfeld defense. And Vincent goes for this variation with knight f3 and bishop to g5. Doesn't really matter. There's a lot of things you can do against the Grunfeld. c5, very, very dynamic move, pawn takes. And Nihal came prepared to this tournament with like pirate-style chess. I mean, dude was swashbuckling. Like, he was fighting with white and with black. It's a ridiculous-looking move, but it's putting some pressure right here. Vincent plays knight d4, obviously spending a lot of time going after this. And yeah, he just completely voluntarily gives up a bishop pair and damages his pawn structure. This is like the most absurd pawn structure ever. White is given the 2 bishops and an extra pawn. But white is down in development. He needs time to get his bishop out and to castle. So Vincent takes. We have knight takes, opening up the bishop, knight takes, pawn takes, and you need to play a solid move here, as black is obviously creating a lot of different forms of counterplay. And now a nice move, queen d2, defending this and defending against this. Now rook f8, so Nihal playing quickly. The best move here was d4 to activate the square for the queen there, so the queen could stand, like a lighthouse in the middle of the board. Doesn't really matter. This game is completely ridiculous. He's threatening mate. Bro is literally threatening checkmate in 1 on move 12. Here's some chess trivia. Find me the next time 2 2700s play a game and on black's 12th move, checkmate in 1 is threatened. I mean, it just shows you how ridiculous the position is. Now, here, e3, a3 is very smart, kicking out the bishop. And basically, Vincent is consolidating his advantage. Black played in a very risky way. He did. And it's not paying off, right? So now he has to kind of commit. He has to go all in. His king is in the middle. The rook came here. The king did not castle. There's open lines all the way to black's king. Vincent now has to meet the challenge with b4, bishop h6, all good. And instead of just, playing defensively, Nihal complicates things. He gives away a rook. You'll notice white can take the rook. First, he gives a check. Then he takes the knight. Then he takes the rook. And we have this position. It's a ridiculous position. White has a rook. Black has a bishop and 2 extra pawns. But white is winning. White is winning because black, well, first of all, 2 rooks are obviously better than a rook and a bishop. But also, being up 2 pawns doesn't mean anything if your pawns are here And like here and here, like they're pretty useless, right? Like your pawns are not intimidating anybody. This is more of a liability than an asset. And these pawns will march up the board, and that pawn's going to be taken. So Vincent begins trying to consolidate his advantage, right? He's trying to now win the game. Convert, not consolidate. He consolidated, now he's trying to win. You might be wondering, why didn't Nihal defend this pawn? He couldn't. I mean, if he goes here, white is just going to double up slowly and win the pawn. It was going to be impossible. So he tries to create some counter chances. And by the way, he does. I mean, I have to give Nihal credit. Dude, look at the king. Look at the black king running up into the white position, trying to go king g3, trying to take some pawns. He creates complete madness here. It's an insane position where Vincent is playing brilliantly. He's actually converting the game really, really expertly. But the players suddenly get into time trouble. The pawn goes through, rook b7, rook b3, and it's actually Nihal Sarin who is doing an amazing job defending himself. His pawns have been perfectly coordinated. And Vincent's looking for an opportunity. Bishop c5, rook c6. The boys are playing to not lose on time. Every time they make a move, they gain 30 seconds. So Vincent made this move with 3 seconds on the clock. Nihal made that move with 44 seconds on the clock. King g5. It's looking like it might be a draw. And Nihal blunders. In this position, Nihal had to play king e4 and keep his king right around here. But here, he blundered. I think Nihal went from I'm holding mode to, oh my god, I think I'm winning. And that's why he went rook h7. The idea of rook h7 is actually really disgusting. It's to play rook h2 and rook h1. And the pawn is promoting. So he probably thought white has to go back with the rook, and then I'm also going to go back. But he needed to move his king, because this move doesn't actually work. There was a really nasty trick here for white, which Vincent spots, rook c7. And even if you can play rook to h2 check, and I take, and you make a queen, I have rook to f7. So I fall into your trap, but I have a trap of my own. And instead of that, if Nihal had played king e4, and this had ended in a draw, who knows how this tournament goes? But in round one, when you can find these clutch moves down the stretch and win the game, he wins the game here because he's simply queening. Not even queening, he's probably just going to go here, remove the bishop, and make a full queen instead of giving up the pawn. Yeah, I mean, then the game's just over, right? Like when you win a game like this, it fuels you. Vincent wins the first game of the tournament, a banger of a game. Yo, and then he really locked in. That first game was craziness. Nihal is a fighter. Now, Vincent, we're going to look at all his games from his perspective. So he's playing black, he's not younger than Pranav. Pranav is like, I think 18, and he's obviously also on the rise. You know what's crazy? Like in India, you could be 25-97, which would mean you are the #1 ranked player in like 100 different countries by far. Yeah, in India, I think Pranav is like number 15, if even. It's crazy. There's so many strong players. C5. D6, Vincent playing the Sicilian defense, trying to play for a win. Knight D7. White playing in a very closed way, as you see, like not offering any pawn trades. And after a little while, he does offer a trade and plays like this. So it's a Sicilian defense where black has 2 bishops pointing at the center. That is pretty rare. It's also a Sicilian defense, which is a Najdorf Sicilian with d6, a6 mixed with a dragon. So it's not exactly a Dragendorf, Dragendorf. It's like a whatever. It's a fusion, right? It's like a Bernedoodle. E6, Queen d2, Queen c7. Boys are bringing the rooks. White plays b4. Look at Pranav's time management, by the way. He started the game with 130. 15 moves later, he hasn't thought. Yeah, this is chess, man. Like, people, it's not that they're memorizing and not thinking. He just knows what the best plans are for white. The best plans are to play precisely like this. Queen b8 from Vincent. Moving the queen potentially over there and, you know, pointing the rook at the pawn instead of the queen. Knight b3. Still, he's not thinking at all. What's interesting here is that rook d1 is the move the computer prefers before playing knight b3. So he played this move extremely quickly, but I don't think that was actually the best move. I mean, maybe he has deeper analysis than me, but I'm a little confused. So knight e5, and now he spends 30 minutes. I think maybe he was supposed to go here, and then if black goes here, now knight a4 puts pressure on this pawn first. Like, there's a small subtlety. But because he played this first, and now, you know, black plays knight e5, it's actually black who's attacking. And you still have to play knight a4, but then you walk into b5. There's like some little subtleties here with, having the rook on this square first. Knight a4 is how played, and like Vincent immediately takes advantage of the moment. He plays b5, knight into b6, and pawn takes c4. So he's just straight up giving up his rook, which gets taken, rook c8. The compensation for this rook is a pawn that is threatening and also 3 squares from queening. It's also very well supported, and a knight. He has a very powerful knight. And you kind of look at this position, you go, I don't think I really feel the fact that white is up a point, right? So the knight goes to a5, Vincent plays d5. Perfect game, by the way, so far. Vincent has played 20 perfect moves. He's played 20 moves top line of Stockfish. It's as if Stockfish itself is playing with the black pieces, understanding the game perfectly. All right, now white has to play bishop to d4. He does. He's also playing very well. Knight back to c6, offering the trade of the knight for the bishop or for the knight. I highlighted the wrong piece at the wrong moment, but I promise I know what the pieces are named. He takes, bishop takes, e5, and that is an inaccuracy. Apparently here, instead of completely closing down the center with white, you actually have to just like keep the tension. You got to keep the tension here between these pawns. You got to play a move like a3 and slowly build up your position. This shuts down all the play in the center, and this is a very nice knight retreating move because this pawn's under attack, and the knight can go to c7 and can go to b5 and etc. Okay, so f4, bishop f8, a3, and Vincent just, you notice all the pieces begin transferring. It's almost as if Vincent isn't even playing the moves. It's like the angels on his shoulders are playing the moves. Like the position is just literally playing itself. Like the whole plan of closing the center, transferring the pieces, bishop to a4, very nice move, just controlling. Knight is coming to b5, bishop f2, knight is coming to b. Like, I mean, tell me this is not like completely perfect play. 27 moves. This game is being played so well by somebody in the world top 10 that you can even understand it. There's nothing deep about this, all right? Now that the pawns are here and they are supported, at some point you're going to have to push them. But white is trying to attack you. So before white attacks you, you shut that down. You don't let him attack you. Now the best move here is f5. Will Pranav spot it? No. He doesn't. f5 right away was the best move, trying to sacrifice a pawn and get into the position. But okay, he plays rook to g3. King h7, just self-explanatory, getting out of the pin. This pawn was under attack. That's a great move. When you are allowing your opponent, he didn't allow it, but when your opponent has conjured up a very easy plan, this really muddies the waters. If you take, queen h5 is incoming and it is lethal. So he goes here. Counterattack. Also, queen e5 is an idea. And if takes, you lose the queen. If white loses a couple more pieces, just even in trades, the pawns are going to be fatal, completely fatal. Bishop back to d1, and there it is. Supported by the knight, supported by the pawn. The bishop is not just a defender, he's an offensive piece. Queen hits everything. Bishop takes. Rook c4. That was the first mistake Vincent made. The best move was c2. Pushing out the bishop and then jumping in with the knight and terrorizing the position. He removes a piece because he's like, well, the less pieces he has, the less he can attack me. Rook f3, and yeah, Pranav probably had to go here. Knight takes pawn on a3. He's still trying for chances. Pawn takes, but the king is so safe. The king is so safe. The pawns all collapse. Now he has 3 passed pawns. His position is not defendable. Rook h3. There goes the pawn. There goes the knight. The queen has to get removed. And the second I trade this, I just stay patient. I'm going to queen. He goes for counterplay. It's not good enough. Pawn takes f5. Rook h4. He makes the queen. And all this is incoming. Queen d4, rook h1, and Pranav resigned. Yo, what a game. Can we just, like, what a game. What a completely breathtaking level of understanding in the Sicilian defense. It's like the position played itself. He went b5, gave up his rook, struck in the center. When his opponent made this decision, he played the next, like, 7 moves automatically. Complete autopilot. Then he needed to deal with a little bit of stuff over here. He had to do a little housekeeping over here. And then he just marched down the right side of the board, took all of his pieces, defended his king, removed the queen from the defense of the c1 square, and promoted. How do you beat a 2600 GM like this? It's incredible. And if you thought that was impressive, wait until I show you this game. Okay, you don't have to wait very long. I'm about to show you this game. e4. He knows that by the way, another player, Karthikeyan, he's 2660 FIDE. This dude would be the board one of many, many countries, probably of like 180 countries, if not more. He's on the B team in India, I think, by the way. I think. If you count, I mean, there's a ridiculous amount of 2,700 rated players. It's unbelievable. Like, it's crazy how many strong players there are in India. I think technically, he might be the board 4 or board 3 of the B team in the Olympiad. It's crazy. Crazy. Now, Vincent Keimer, E6. He plays something in the 4 knights variation. He plays this move, bishop to f4, okay? Bishop f4 is a very, very sharp move. Very sharp move. There is a variation where black puts the bishop on b4. White plays knight b5, and then knight here, and then, like, wins the rook. It's crazy. The variation here is completely crazy. But instead of doing that, black just plays very solid d6. I guess he wasn't prepared for the move, bishop to f4. Maybe he was only prepared for knight db5, but okay, we have bishop f4 from Vincent, d6, and now this nice move, bishop to b5. This is apparently some sort of cutting-edge theory, and the point is very simple. You take. If takes, the bishop can come back, and black has a weird pawn structure. And if this, we just develop, we trade, and this is what we have to work with. Black has 4 pawns like this, and white has just a bit of pressure. So black pushes the pawn. But now Vincent shows the other idea of all of what he's doing, okay? It looks like black just going to play bishop e7 and castle and maybe create some counterplay on the queen side, right? It's going to be typical Sicilian battle. No, it's not going to be a typical Sicilian battle. No, no, absolutely not. Vincent plays h4. He declares hostilities immediately. So if black plays h5, it does stop white, but it weakens certain squares behind and next to the pawn, okay? He goes bishop e7 after some thought, a lot of thought, like 30 minutes of thought. Yeah, Vincent doesn't think at all. He just plays h5. I mean, that's clearly the idea. Black cannot leave the king in the middle here. The king cannot be left in the middle. The middle is waiting to be opened. Now, if black plays h6, that's a huge mistake because it's not about the pawn. It's about that pawn, and if you defend that pawn, you lose, right? Like, because you push the pawn, it now becomes a target. So you cannot play h6 yourself. But that is exactly what he does. This was clearly his idea, and his idea here was not to castle. His idea was to play king to f8. The king tripped while trying to castle. He is defending g7. h6 is no longer a problem, but the king is stuck. And basically what Karthikeyan is saying is, okay, I don't like my position, but at least you can't easily attack my king on f8. And in the long run, we will trade queens, and, you know, I'll figure it out. And this pawn could be weak in the long run as well. I'll move my knight, I'll trade your bishop. Yeah, Vincent's like, okay, so since we both have dark squared pieces and you have trades on this diagonal, just simple king b1. So you can't attack me on b8. Your queen is not intimidating. So black says, okay, I'll play rook a7, right? I mean, yeah, I gotta go here. I gotta do something, you know? Vincent has a lot of possibilities here. Plays bishop e5, very natural move, applying more pressure, and also maybe defending d4, and maybe a few more things on this diagonal. Okay, very logical. Rook g8. Also a pretty logical move. But there is another idea behind bishop to e5. It's not just about the bishop pressuring and the bishop defending. It's the fact that the bishop used to stand on that square. And since the king is on f8, you would really love ripping open the f-file. Well, the best way to do that is to play f4. Vincent Keimer plays the most simple and straightforward but powerful chess of any 2700 I have seen. I can explain all these moves to you. Like, yeah, obviously, there's a king on f8. You want to pawn storm the king. Your bishop was in the way of your pawn, so we move the bishop. Yeah, and he wants to play f5. Maybe not right away. Maybe he wants to move a rook first. Maybe he wants to put the queen behind the pawn. Let's see what he wants to do. Black plays knight d7. Okay, he wants the bishop. First thing we got to decide is the bishop worth giving away, right? That's one thing. Now, is the bishop worth saving? If we go here, we're kind of just helping black. Like, do we really want to take a step back? Feels like we should be moving forward. That's what he does. He plays pawn takes d5. Black plays pawn takes d5 himself. And had he taken with this pawn, this would have made a lot of sense because we wouldn't have been able to be blocked. Pawn takes d5. Now, how do we move forward? We want to get a piece into the game that hasn't moved yet. well, hasn't moved yet is wrong, because hasn't moved yet would be a rook, is this knight. The knight can't go forward, so we go back. Now we go here and fork or f5 and take. Like, Karthikeyan plays rook b7. That was his idea, but there's nothing. It's just a b3 even. Maybe not even necessary. He could have played knight d4 right away, just didn't want to get mated. b3. How is black going to break through this pawn? It is the most protected pawn in the white position. He goes g5. Wow! When you gotta start pushing the pawns, when you gotta start kicking out the windows of the car that the king is in, you know it's bad. You know it's bad. Now, first of all, we can en passant, but Vincent is a cultured man. He knows that it's not forced. Queen d3, simultaneously looking to invade, and maybe, by the way, just grab a pawn. Like, at the end of the day, I could just win all your pawns, right? So, g takes f4. Bishop takes f4, that's hanging. You gotta go bishop g5, he does. Rook f1, knight c5, queen c3, threatening the knight. The knight moves. End of the day, I just take a pawn. I take a pawn. The rook hangs. The pawn hangs. This pawn hangs. And that pawn will hang if I take the bishop at the right moment. And on top of that, your king is still only protected by a little pawn. He goes here. Knight d4. Vicious threat of knight to e6 in many lines. Takes. Now I'm threatening knight e6. And I'm threatening the a6 pawn, and I'm threatening the h6 pawn. You go here, I check you. If you take with the rook, I take with the queen. Game over. Knight c3, king a1. This is mate. Both of them, by the way, are mate. Karthikeyan resigned in this position. Yeah, he can stop the mate. Yeah, don't worry, he saw that. He can't stop the incoming attack, though. He can't stop all the pieces falling off the board. What a game. Vincent Keimer got his prep on the board, got a nice position, and just played it perfectly again. His opponent made one inaccuracy, and he just methodically tore apart Black's position, completely picked it apart. Like, he won the game on all three sides of the board, just like the previous game. Now, this last game is the game that he played in the penultimate rounds. I think either penultimate round or maybe the third to last round. At this point, he's already racked up a bunch of wins, right? So he's won all these games. And you're feeling confident, right? So when you're feeling confident, what do? You play more provocatively. You play h6 in the Italian. The move h6 in the Italian prevents white from moving a bishop to g5. And it also prevents, like, knight g5, but these guys are not worried about the fried liver. And so you play this in d6. And the other idea of playing like this, long-term, is to start an attack. So there are a lot of lines where black goes g5, g4, 8. There are other lines where black plays more normally, like bishop e7 and castle, but still these pawns are a springboard for an attack. It's actually very interesting. So let's see. D4 is the move chosen here by Awonder. So he already played D3. He already played it. It's kind of ridiculous. But he sees how his opponent is playing. He spends another tempo to go D4. Vincent goes bishop G4, undermining the knight's control of the middle. White plays C3, and then white plays here. So the pawn went D3, D4, D5, pushing the pieces backwards. But this is exactly what Vincent wanted. It's exactly what he wanted. Because now this is the equivalent of being in a clinch with somebody. You ever been in a clinch with somebody? No? They're trying to throw knees at your stomach. It really, the sensation, or your head, or your legs, but mostly your stomach. Just not a good feeling. Like, don't get kneed in the stomach. Professional advice. Just like, it doesn't feel particularly good. Unless they're paying you a lot of money for it. Knight to D7, rook E1, C6. And he's just like slowly turning the game into kind of what resembles a King's Indian. He grabs a bishop and castles, and then he brings this bishop back. And in the long run, this position is the type that when the position is closed, black is going to get F5 and start shenanigans on this side of the board. In the King's Indian defense, okay, I'm not going to play out a King's Indian defense, but in the King's Indian defense, this bishop is a golden goose. Like, capturing this bishop is a really, really big deal. The bishop stands back and supports the advancement of the pawns. And Vincent Keimer has, like, the perfect King's Indian. White now needs to open the center. He needs to open the center. He needs to go here. And then, by the way, he needs to go here. It's kind of crazy, but this is what white has to do. Normally when the guy has two bishops, you don't want to open the position. You hear the guy with the bishops wants the position open. No, the guy with the bishops in this case wants a kingside attack. And white goes here, allowing Vincent to very correctly do this. Now the center is locked forever. The only chance that white has here is doing something on this side of the board and trying to get to these pawns. But now this is Vincent's game. By the way, Awonder has played this game like he has a meeting to get to. He has spent 8 minutes. Maybe this is his preparation. I don't know. Knight back to h7, and it is quite clear what's about to go down. Okay? It's quite clear. Queen c4. King h8. There are only bad intentions incoming. Awonder senses that he needs to get something done himself. He plays rook c1. He's playing on the side of the board. Here comes f5. Now, let me be very clear. If this is the first round of a tournament and these guys are playing, the objective evaluation of the position is different than if they're playing in the 7th round and Vincent Keimer has obliterated everybody he's played. It's just true. The form you're in the tournament matters. I can tell you firsthand as a person that has played a tournament, not as well, not anywhere near as well as these guys, but way better than some of you, right? And so I can tell you, it's not an insult, I'm just, maybe somebody watching this is stronger than me, but that would be very crazy. My point being, like, if you are beating everybody, you play with confidence, right? Queen b3 is an unconfident move. It follows the protocol of trying to get on to, the queen side, but the one thing you want to avoid as a King's Indian defender is this. If the cage shuts, you're dead. You're dead. Like, you won't survive. Winning a pawn doesn't even matter. He could play knight g5. It doesn't matter. You don't have time to win the pawn. But okay, Vincent, very professional, shuts down the play of the knight, rook b8, a6, even a5, a4, by the way. But now the knight is going back here. Queen e8, very nice move. Rook c7, bishop d8. Awonder doing a nice job, but he's going to be booted out of the position, and then the attack will resume. But knight takes f4. Wow. Knight takes f4 is a crazy move. Now, if he didn't do this and he just played a waiting move, the next move would have probably been knight to g5. And after knight takes, pawn takes, let's say you play a move like f3. Yeah. Now I go here and I start slamming down moves on the other side of the board. Okay? But he sacrifices material. He's trying to get, if pawn takes f4, he's looking at e5. He's trying to create some counterplay. But knight takes f4, Vincent, cool, calm, collected. The rook is trapped. Right? It's got to take. And now that it's gone off of this area, now I pick this up. Rook b8, dynamic. a4, hitting the queen. Queen's got to move. Bishop a5, look at this. Unbelievable. Hitting the queen. Bishop is there. Rook under pressure. Queen takes d6. We trade. I mean, I could have probably taken, but then I would have gone here. And at the end of the day, one guy has an extra rook. He just has an extra rook. Rook c2. King g8, just don't get mated. The queen can't teleport, but, just in case you forget, knight f6, queen e7. Vincent just has to keep calm. Just got to keep calm. Bishop e6, knight g4. Just got to keep calm. Or rook c8. Nice. Awonder plays rook d2, and he resigns. He resigns before Vincent can even play the winning move, of which he has many, but probably just rook c2, and something like rook f8. And, I mean, if the queen goes back, you take a pawn, and it's over. And he won one more game, by the way. I just thought the last one that he won was more boring than the others, but he won 5 games. He made 4 draws. He went undefeated. He's 2750.9. Folks, say hello to the newest member of the Top 10 Club, a player who has gone slightly under the radar, if one can even say that. Of course, unless you're a follower of every tournament or you're German. Vincent Keimer is younger than everybody in the top 10 except the world champion. Pretty big deal. Pretty awesome. It's going to be very exciting to see how much more rating he can gain and how many more top tournaments he qualifies for or plays in. And I look forward to seeing him challenge for the very, very top of chess. That's all I have for you today. If you want to improve at chess, you know where to get some extra content. Chessly, top line of the description. And that's all. Get out of here.